Yuri Prokayevs of the world. We didn't know how good Prokayev is.
Today's video, we'll talk about the life of Yuri Prochazka, the light heavyweight champion in the UFC. Yuri was born in Czechoslovakia, now Czech Republic, in October 14th, 1992. Yuri's love of fighting came when he played a video game series called Tekken. This gave him the idea of mixed martial arts. Initially, Yuri found his style of fighting so appalling. His friends further pushed him towards fighting after watching a clip of Fedor Emelianenko and Marko Korokop, who was a legendary MMA fighter from Europe. I told you initially that Yuri is from Czech Republic, which was Czechoslovakia. Let's talk a little bit about Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia adopted the official name Czech and Slav Federative Republic in the late 1989, 2 years before Yuri was born. And this happened after the Velvet Revolution. What is Velvet Revolution, or also called Gentle Revolution? It's a non-violent transaction of power in which was then Czechoslovakia, occurring from 17th November to 28th November 1989. This was a popular demonstration against the one-party government of the Communist Party of the Czechoslovakia, which included student and old descendants. The result was the end of 41 years of one-party rule in Czechoslovakia. Now back to Yuri Prochazka. Yuri Prochazka's father died when he was 6 years old. Yuri's Prochazka's mother was worried about Yuri being a fighter. She truly knows the consequences of fighting, but Yuri convinced her not to worry about him fighting. After his father's death, he pursued amateur football for the TJ Dušan, and he was also an active freestyle BMX rider and a floorboy player. During his teen years, Yuri Prochazka involved in the street fight on a weekly basis. He was involved in more than 100 street fights. Due to his experience fighting in the street, he decided to organize a group street fight club, likewise participating in the 30 on 30 brews. Due to his love of fighting, he decided to pursue his fighting career. He made his professional MMA debut at Gladiator Fighting Championship in April 2012. This was his biggest promotion in the Czech Republic. He won the inaugural GCF Light Heavyweight Championship in the back-to-back fight against Czech MMA pioneer Martin Suk. This fight made Yuri popular in the extent that the fight video went viral in the Czech Republic. He started fighting in the Rising Fighting Federation in 2015, and he went on in the UFC in the 2020. Yuri moved up in ranking so fast despite starting his career in the UFC in 2020. Currently, he's the champion in the light heavyweight division in the UFC. His fight against Glover Teixeira, he came into the fight with a record of 32 total fights, 28 wins, 25 knockouts, 2 submissions and 1 decision, and 3 losses. Talking about his fights in the UFC, his first fight in the UFC was against Volkan, which ended up as a knockout in the second round. His next fight after Volkan was against Dominic Reyes, which also ended up as a knockout in the second round. Having 25 knockouts out of 32 fights in his record will tell you a lot about his fighting style. He got the knockout power, and he's obviously a knockout artist. Yuri Prochazka and Glover Teixeira in the UFC 275 was a great fight. There was a lot of back and forth in the fight. Yuri was the favorite going into the fight, but when the fight started, as people predicted, if the fight goes on the ground, it will favor Glover Teixeira. If the fight goes standing, it will favor Yuri Prochazka. But it didn't go the way people planned. Instead, it ended up in a submission 5th round in the favor of Yuri Prochazka, making him the first Czech Republican champion in the UFC. In any angle you look at the fight, you will know that it was a great battle. The throw accumulation of over 450 strikes, with Glover Teixeira attempting most of the takedown, 5 out of 17. The fight was obviously going Glover Teixeira's way until Yuri Prochazka submitted him in the 5th round with 30 seconds to go. As we all know, Glover Teixeira is such a great fighter. He's been in the game for so long. Let's talk a little bit about Glover Teixeira here. Glover Teixeira is one of the older fighters in the UFC. He started his career in the UFC in 2012. Since starting his career, he had a total of 40 fights and winning 33, 18 knockouts, 10 submissions, and 5 decisions, obviously losing to Yuri Prochazka. His record obviously shows that he has a great knockout power and he can wrestle. As I said before, Glover Teixeira is a top contender in the light heavyweight division. He's been in the game for so long, and His fight before Yuri Prochazka was against Jan Blachowicz, which ended up in a real naked choke. He also fought Thiago Santos, Antonio Smith, and picked up a victory towards the process. Glover Teixeira is currently 42 years old. A lot of people will say he's old, slow, and will have a hard time with much younger fighter. By default, that might be the case, but he has proven over and over again that he's such a good fighter. Likewise, losing his belt against Yuri Prochazka. Glover Teixeira versus Jan Blachowicz fight was a great fight. A lot of people thought Jan Blachowicz would defeat Glover Teixeira, but that wasn't the case. He shows that he got good wrestling. Remember, he's a Brazilian black belt jiu-jitsu, and that's what gave him confidence to attempt 17 takedown during Yuri Prochazka's fight. And standing up, I wasn't thinking Glover Teixeira would stand toe-to-toe with Yuri Prochazka, but he did. During one of the rounds, he almost knocked out Yuri Prochazka. Thank God for his great chin. Yuri Prochazka really possesses a great chin. He's a pressure fighter, everybody knows that, but we have to give credit to Glover Teixeira. Actually, the scorecard shows that he was winning the fight until Yuri got a real neck choke in the 5th round. For me, I think Yuri did well in the fight because he has the skills to keep the fight where he wants. He's way younger than Glover and has a better cardio, and he puts tremendous amount of pressure that made Glover tired, and he got a real neck choke. Glover Teixeira have already pivoted to call it a career in his next 2 fights. So he was saying if he beats Yuri Prochazka, he wants his next fight to be against Jan Blachowicz. But now, during his fight interview, after losing to Yuri Prochazka, it seems he will keep fighting regardless of what the situation is. For his age, I don't think UFC will resign his contract if he performed bad in his next fight, since his next fight will be his last fight in his contract. For Yuri Prochazka's next fight, it is looking like he will be challenging Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight belt. This will be a showdown between 2 Eastern European, Czech Republic and Polish. Since Jon Jones left the light heavyweight division, the light heavyweight division belt has been transferring from one fighter to the other. No fighter has defended the belt more than once. When Jon Jones left the division, the UFC made the fight between Jan Blachowicz and Dominic Reyes in the UFC 253, which Jan took the victory in the 2nd round. Jan went on defending his belt against Israel Adesanya in the UFC 259. Remember that Israel Adesanya moved up in weight class in order to be a 2-division fighter in the potential fight with Jon Jones, but it didn't go his way. He ended up losing the fight. He lost the match due to his terrible wrestling, which Jan Blachowicz capitalized on. Jan Blachowicz went on losing to Glover Teixeira, and Glover ended up losing to Yuri Prochazka. Now it's looking like Yuri will be facing Jan Blachowicz, or maybe a rematch fight with Glover Teixeira. We all have to remember that Jon Jones is still in the picture. He might be returning back to the light heavyweight division to contest for the belt again. But right now, it's looking like he wants to have a fight in the heavyweight division against Francis Ngannou. What do you guys think about Yuri Prochazka defending his belt? Is he capable of defending his light heavyweight belt more than one, or can he break Jon Jones' record of title defenses of 11? Tell me what you guys think. I know he's a very good fighter, he's a great striker, but we all know that there's still a long way to go. There's still a lot of top contenders in the light heavyweight division. And if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Alebra TV, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks.